This is the second episode of the first Battle of Bull Run, Ultimate General Civil War, on Legendary difficulty with the UI mod, version 1.8. So we have these two captures, and our units have done really well. That is a lot of kills with almost no injuries or losses. So yeah, that's really good. So I'm putting the detached skirmishers back in with the parent unit, and I need these guys to recover. I'm trying to get these captured units out of the way so they don't get taken back. Sending the supply wagon across the bridge to resupply the 3 units on the other side. I'm bringing another unit across the river. So now I'll have 5 units in this area, 5 infantry units to carry on the fight. Yeah, and I hit the route button on this guy, and it sends him... I thought it was going to send him just off the map, but no, it's going to take him back across the bridge. So, hope he doesn't... I'm thinking at the time, I hope he doesn't get captured by the enemy coming in from the north. That would be very bad. So I'm on the observation point, and hopefully I can see the enemy units if they decide to cross at the ford. But I'm hoping they try to cross at the bridge and go straight for the flag. That's kind of my hope. Yeah, my units are... I'm checking their condition. Boy, those are really nice kills. I'm double checking the condition, making sure my units are filled up with ammo. I have plenty of ammo in this battle. It's not a problem at all. Normally, I want to get logistics to 4 as quickly as possible, but that's from playing the Union, and when I play the Union, half of my units are artillery units. When I play the CSA, I mean, this is mostly infantry, and infantry just doesn't need the logistics support. So going into logistics doesn't seem to be that necessary yet. Maybe by mid-game, mid-campaign, or toward the end, putting points into logistics might be a good idea. But so far, and if I keep building mostly infantry armies, this just isn't going to be... I don't see this as being... or it might not be an issue. I'm not going to have time to capture this guy. So, yeah, I'm just going to get him to rout, do some damage to him. I want my units to stay fairly fresh for the much bigger battle that's going to come up. I want them to have as much condition as possible for when we go into melee. So yeah, we're just basically ganging up on this guy. And when I get on his flank, he's going to rout. So I'm thinking, as I'm doing this, that he's probably going to rout to the north, back where he came from. But there is some possibility that if you put enough units to the north, he might rout to the south. Like if I got the 42s out of there instead of doing what I'm doing right now, and yeah, created an opening for him, he might have routed south instead. Now let's see if he... My concern at this point is maybe he will decide to like go north and then go across the ford. So I have a detached skirmisher over there just to keep an eye on things. So get back into hiding and, you know, get everybody rested up again. Yeah, condition doesn't look bad. Yeah, 1,100 kills, lost 48. There's 1,200, lost 100. Yeah, this is all looking really good so far. This guy is moving really slow. He must have taken quite a hit. Yeah, I'm just looking at the strategic map to see if any blue dots are going to show up, and the blue dot showed up on the strategic map actually sooner than it showed up on the big map. So sometimes you get a little bit of a heads up on the strategic map. And yeah, there they are. Large oversized unit and two cav, or two artillery. So yeah, I'm going to let him move all up into that little pocket, and hopefully we're going to kill them all right there. Okay, we have some reinforcements. So these guys need to get up. And I'm actually thinking about falling all the way back to the victory location and the wood line, and falling back to the farm itself. If I have to, I think that's a perfectly reasonable defensive line. Yeah, I'll just meet him as he goes into the water, but there's no reason I can fall back to the better cover, which might be a better place to fight from. So, yeah, if I don't like how the battle unfolds there, I'll just fall back. So I've gotten behind, and I'm going to get some shots on his artillery, and I want to keep him from routing to the north, if at all possible. So that's a big skirmisher unit. That unit's going to be a pain in the neck. So I have 5 infantry units coming up, and they're a bit undersized, which they are in this battle. I'm going to go ahead and run and get some easy shots on the flank of these artillery units and route one of them right away, and on the flank of this infantry unit. So even though that's only a 42, he was able to give a flanking shot. Actually, 2 units gave flanking shots. Now I need this guy to route to the south. I'm thinking, do not route north. Do not route north. Need to get some shifting my infantry north to convince him to route south. And it's working just fine. Yeah, he started routing to the north. That could have been bad. So I had all my units start to shift north. And once that happened, everybody then started routing to the south, where they can be easily killed. I'm going to keep an eye on the skirmisher unit to the left. That's okay. His cav unit is going to be a nuisance. And I suspect that new unit is going to rout any second now. He's just taking a lot of losses. And what I know from experience now, playing several battles like this, those units are toast right now. I mean, they're just done. The only thing he can do is maybe get a volley or two off, and I doubt if they'd actually be volleys. They'd be that broken, disorganized fire that does about half the damage of a regular volley. And yeah, they're doomed. So all we have to do now is buy time. Keep the cav unit off of us. His skirmisher units are on top of my line, so we have to deal with those guys. But basically just buy time so that my guys can wrap these 4 units up. They're doomed. We've got them. And, of course, capture as many as we possibly can. But that's a matter of pretty much luck that they don't shatter. Yeah, the thing I've noticed about getting a lot of captures is you don't have to capture every one. You just have to engage in melee, and even if a large percentage of them shatter, you're still going to get a lot of captures. And you can do it without taking a whole lot of losses. You just have to really... well, I had to really get used to it. I had to get used to the fact that I wasn't going to milk the end of every battle like this one for as many kills as I could get to drive up XP, but instead I was going to look for the opportunity to charge into melee to get the capture. And that's a different way of thinking. And it took a while to get the timing down. Like, the route keeps flashing up, and if you start to see, they'll actually start to surrender, but then because they're right next to the unit, their own unit, they'll unsurrender. So, but you know, with some practice, you can get pretty good at it. And yeah, all I can tell you is by Shiloh, I got over 20,000 captures, which is, you know, for this week, probably the world record for number of captures at Shiloh, a record which will be and should be broken next week by someone who decides to go out and get 22. But really, if I hadn't botched up the attack with my allied troops, and you'll see it, I did wipe out and shatter. I did get some captures with my allied troops, but mostly I shattered the enemy. But if I had done a bit better in my attack with my allied troops, instead of shattering the enemy units, I could have gotten maybe 5,000 more captures. I think I could have gotten 25,000 captures out of that battle, and got a complete wipe of the battlefield. So, yeah, it works. But really, if I'd gotten 16,000, that would have been a great day. If you get, I mean, you want to get captures to drop down the enemy manpower pool, but that there's some basement number that you're going to hit, beyond which more captures doesn't help you. And you do recover weapons from captures. Yeah, but at some point you probably don't need a whole bunch more of those either. And it depends on what kind of weapons you're capturing. So, yeah, I was lucky at Shiloh that I got Enfields, but I think here, I have to think. Here and in the next couple of battles, I don't get very good weapons, I don't think. So yeah, I guess my point is you have to evaluate, do I look at the condition of your army, look at the weapons you have, look at your inventory, and then determine, because you are going to take, I think, greater losses if you get into melee. It's not much more, but it is more. And do I want greater experience for my troops, firearms, efficiency, just drive up all the stats on my units by just standing and shooting at them, or do I want captures? I think that's the point. So yeah, previously the way to do this was just max out the shots and max out the XP. You were basically XP farming. And you did everything possible to stay out of melee, but now there's a real advantage to going into melee. So this is taking a while to chop these guys down, but I'm looking at their numbers right now, and they're low enough right now that I could go into melee over there, and it would work. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. The one unit is down to 1,000, under 1,000. I can't tell you how much I love the cones on the artillery. I can see how far the guns can shoot and exactly where canister and mid-range is. It's absolutely, yeah, just... If you play Ultimate General Civil War, download the mod. Download the UI mod. Not playing with it is just so unnecessary. Make your life easier. Improve the game. Yeah. Okay, I'm moving a unit that's in the open, in not very much cover, over to position of more cover. And also he'll be firing into infantry in the water, which will have 0 cover. So that's all good. I really should charge over here now. I don't think I do. I don't think I quite charge at this moment. But right now is when I should charge. 1,200 and 800. Yeah, definitely should charge right there. Yeah, right now that guy's down 700. He's on his way to 600. And he shattered. Yeah, see, that was a capture that I should have had. As soon as that guy went under 1,000, I should have jumped in there. But again, at this point, I'm still fiddling with the timing. So 1 unit left. This is a no-brainer. I would say turn off firing so they don't fire into each other. Once they get into melee, they will just fire into the enemy, not into each other. No collateral damage. So that's the only mistake I'm making there. So put them on hold fire and charge. I'm going to have this guy... Yeah, moving the commander forward to give them a buff to morale. Yeah, anytime you're in melee, have the commander right there. So I'm looking at this. These guys are actually out of range. I would like to get these guys up. This is a pretty good location. They're in terrible cover. But it's better than nothing. So we get into melee. I'm getting the charge bonus. Okay, we have quite a bit going on. I'm on pause so that I can hit hold and then put out the detached skirmishers and put them on hold. I have one guy covering my left flank of that little group. He sits there for quite a while and doesn't do anything. Okay, 2-on-1 in melee. I should be winning this. I'm going to send a couple more units in now to stack on top of that, because what happens is 2 units become tired and then another fresh unit comes in. Look at those numbers drop. I'm having 1 unit stay out of it. Okay, and a unit fired and the unit shattered. So I didn't capture either one of those 2. If I'd attacked a little sooner, I think I would have probably gotten one of them. Maybe even both. Maybe would have gotten both. So, okay, now we're going to start moving everybody north. Because what you want to do is now come up on, not join the battle, but get on the flank and rear of this enemy position. And there is always one enemy unit up on the where the first objective was. So we need to clean that enemy unit out of that position and drive him into this, into the big clump of blue down here, all stuck in the water. Surround it and destroy it. And the only thing I have to keep track of is just make sure that none of my detached skirmishers get shattered. So when they get low, I mean, I'm not going to machine gun them, but when they get low, I'll put them back into the parent unit and then detach them again at full size. So, yeah. And I'm looking at some of these numbers, and, well, these are all good so, well, it's just getting started. I mean, nothing much has happened here. Keep pushing my artillery forward as usual. Looking at the condition, these guys are tired, not a big surprise. I'm going to let them rest for a minute. So now his cav unit becomes super aggressive. Okay. So far I really like the setting of artillery will target enemy artillery if there's no infantry within reasonable range. That's a really, really good setting. And it also, I mentioned this before, it also makes the lower quality guns, particularly the 6-pounders, very useful. By putting the 6-pounders right on the front line, they can take losses. It's no big deal. The 6-pounders are, I count them as free. Their job is to sit on the front line. Enemy artillery will target them first. And the 6-pounders, although they don't get a lot of kills, they do a very good job of degrading enemy morale. And when you're playing this style, breaking enemy morale is more important than getting a bunch of kills, if that makes sense. So although the 6-pounder is not going to get a bunch of kills, it is going to degrade the enemy units and make them very vulnerable eventually to captures. So yeah, I was thinking about this. It'd be nice if we could switch perks halfway through the battle, like early in the battle, get as many kills as possible till they got down to about 1,500. Enemy units all got below 1,500, and then changed it from accuracy to rapid fire, the rapid fire perk, because at that point you just want them to break. Because as soon as they get down to a certain amount, like obviously not now where they're 2,500 or something, but they get down to about 1,500, now you're looking for capture opportunities, you're looking to get into melee. Their morale becomes the important factor. So I'm checking who needs ammo, and yeah, nobody. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Everybody seems to be doing really well, and I have 3 ammo wagons. Okay, one of my infantry units is in good cover, and he's actually on the flank of the enemy line at this point, which is good. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of enemy army, you know? I'm seeing like 4 infantry units. I know there's more, but I'm at this point underwhelmed by the threat of the enemy force. So I'm just kind of patiently waiting for two of my infantry, well, three of my infantry on the right to get into the battle. I'm kind of looking for stuff to shoot at this point. I mean, I can't go across the river at him, but I do want to be within range to stay engaged. So yeah, I'm just taking a moment, like, where is he? Yeah, and that guy's down to 200, so I think, well, let's charge him 2-on-1. I have about 200, he's about 200, I'll have a 2-to-1 advantage, and I run this Mississippi, I start running him, maybe the detached skirmisher. He's toast now. Look at him, he's between my infantry, and he's like surrounded by my army. My infantry gets a shot, detached skirmisher, he's gone. That's all he has to the right. Now, everything on the right side is secure. It's now just get everybody up. And yeah, his cav is in the water. So I've moved my infantry up. Yeah, I'm almost in the position where, yeah, I'm almost in the position where I need to move the artillery up. So I've pushed my infantry up. I'm going to push my artillery up. My infantry on the right is coming online. The enemy position is looking weak, and it's about to look a whole lot weaker. So, yeah, that wraps up this phase, and I'll see you next time.